Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome everyone to IE26 Engineering Economy. And today, inshallah, we will discuss Chapter 9 Benefit Cost Analysis and the Public Sector's Economics. This chapter is unique in terms of the method that will be used. We are going to implement partially some of the methods that we have covered in chapter 5 and 6, the present worth and annual worth analysis, but in a different application. Today's chapter is talking about the public sectors. Even though this application of benefit cost analysis can be applied to private projects or even your small business that you are maybe planning to develop, but it is commonly used for public projects. Public projects similar to the governmental projects like highways, universities, arena, or hospitals, and so on. Public sector projects usually funded by the government and used by the citizen or residents. And it is usually is not profit, is not made for profit. That's the type of the characteristics of the projects that we are dealing with. As we say, this can be applied also to your business or to the feasibility study for your project, or also for private companies, even though if it is commonly for the public sectors. The size we are expecting for this project is to be large, and the life for this project usually is long. That's why it is also common to use the capitalized cost method if it is lasting for a long time. And the cash flow, we are dealing with the benefit and this benefit instead of cost. We are not consider it as a cost. We are consider it as a benefit and this benefit. Cost is considered, but as we said, we are not expecting to make revenue out of this project. The funding usually comes from the government, as we said, or also sometimes taxes applied for using the facilities or using um, the project outcome like highways or hospitals, and those taxes only to operate that facility, not really to make or generate revenue. And also we use, as we did before, the interest rate, but we call it here the discount rate, since in the government the interest is not applied actually, but we consider usually a discounted rate for the value of money that change over time, and we consider it usually in a range from 3 to 6 per year. So usually you expect to deal with 3 to 6% in the project of the benefit cost analysis or the public sector project. The method, it is based on the B/C, which is benefit cost analysis, and we will see the formula, we will see examples, and we'll explain it in details in the coming slides. Comparison here between the public and private projects. Usually in the public projects that we deal with a large size of investment compared to a medium in the private. The life of the project usually is long compared to the private. It is non-profitable compared to the private, and the fees, the stacks is the source of funding, whereas stocks or loans is the source of funding for the private projects. The interest rate is lower since it's non-profitable and it is by the government. The interest rate is higher in the private. You can have an example from real life. حياة الزكاة والدخل. You don't apply it for a governmental project. You apply it for a private only. Selection criteria, it is multiple criteria you can use to make the decision. In the private, usually based on the rate of return of that project. Does that project make returns, does that project is making profit more than the cost, then that's the only way that usually decided in the private projects. Yes, Abdullah.
أول شيء السلام عليكم. دكتور عندي سؤال. دحين تعتبر الجمعيات الخيرية اللي على مدى طويل برايفت ولا بابليك؟ لأنه فيها أرباح، اللي هي في بعض الجمعيات الخيرية تسوي مشاريع تدير عليها منها لنفسها، يصير في المستقبل ما تحتاج أحد يعيل عليها. فهل هذه نقدر نعتبرها بابليك ولا برايفت؟ لأنها هي يعني ما تاخذ من الفلوس حكومة، أو
Okay.
بشكل عام المشاريع تدير نفسها بنفسها يعني بدون مساعدة ناس.
Okay. Good question. Thank you, Abdullah. To rephrase Abdullah's question, asking about the charity or the community service, whether those are under the public sector project or the benefit cost analysis, the answer is yes. Even though that income received is not really to make profit. We have to distinguish between profitable organization or a organization or society and a non-profitable. Non-profit doesn't mean that they are not making money. They are making, but that income used to operate that facility. For example, we are hearing about using privatization خصخصة to some public sectors, healthcare maybe, or education even. It doesn't mean that it is going to be profitable at the end. It means that it will be managed by independent agency to operate that facility, and the income that will be generated from that facility is to operate it only, is not to make at the end of the year a profit to be distributed among the shareholders or to participate in the stock market. يعني ما توزعها كأسهم أو مساهمات أو أرباح توزع للمساهمين أو لمجلس الإدارة. Okay. Exactly, the money is used, thank you Umar, to sustain the charity or the community service. Analysis requires in the public sectors to conduct the benefit cost analysis. Mainly it is relying on three elements. The benefit, you can يعني recall the title, benefit cost analysis. Benefit is one of them, cost is the other, and the last one is the disbenefit. Before I go with the definitions, I will explain an example how those three are implemented in real life. I'm going to give you an example that all we are involved in, طيبة University. Okay, طيبة University, the main campus, and all the other campuses, it is a public project. Do you agree? I believe we have an agreement on that, since it is mainly relying on education for free. Some part of the programs are paid programs, like graduate programs, masters, and so on, or diploma certificates, but the majority of that, it is for free. Okay, now the cost of the Taiba University is the initial cost that being used to start up this university, and also the cost for the maintaining the university facilities. The benefit that is going to be generated from that university is you as students to be educated graduates, can serve the country and the nation, and return that as a improving the manpower and the human resources in the country. Also, other benefit is to hire people like me to be hired as a faculty members. So it is opening also a job opportunity for teachers, technicians, staff, so they can be hired. This is other benefit. This benefit that could be part of the Taiba University, we can give an example of this benefit, and then you can measure it to other examples. Salam Road, that is the Taiba University is located. We can see the congested traffic happens in the highways, and that's due to having the university in that location. Another disbenefit it could be is the neighbors in the area, they are struggling in finding their needs and making their transportation smoothly in that location. And I'm talking here about especially the main campus. And also, in addition to that, if you compare, also you consider the Islamic University is placed also near to the door or next to door of Taiba. So that road, it becomes really highly trafficked, and during the day, from this class started until the end, due to that reason. This is one of this benefit, and that will lead to traffic and management needed to problems happens there. We can give another example, building highways. Building highways, we know the benefit is to improve the infrastructure of the country, to help people transport and having alternative transportation method other than airplanes, trains, to connect cities between the country. And the cost obviously is building the highway or the road. One of the disbenefit it could happen is the number of accident the chance of the number of accident can be increased. As long you have highways, you have high speed, you have more people are driving, the chances of the risk and having accidents increase. Allowing now recently what happened, female to drive, many benefits we can name it underneath that decision, and also the cost of establishing schools to teach drivers from female gender to be able to drive. And this benefit, it could be the increasement in the car insurance, because now car insurance, they have their own metrics to calculate the amount needed to insure your car. And this metric, it is calculated based on the probability, or to find the probability first of having the accident for that certain driver, okay? Based on many factors like the age, your age, it's considered to be high risk. يعني based on your يعني الage اللي هو 18 to end of 20s, this is considered to be high risk because they are يعني based on their behavior. خلينا نقول we don't want to blame them this age. يعني those are my friends, my students, but يعني the careful in driving is not like when you compare it to 50 and plus. Usually 50 years and plus, those are, or 40 years and plus, more of يعني careful, and they have families, children in the car, so يعني they consider that in driving. Type of car is one of the factors that considered, because sport cars is a high risk, or expensive car, it is high risk in terms of fixing when accidents happen. But what we want to try to say, when we had that decision, those companies, they add a higher risk in the roads, because now those road is being exposed to a new experience of driving by the female, so they increase their insurance. Maybe they increase it only to the female driver, maybe they increase it to everyone as a factor that for all that as a common. So this is one of the disbenefit or disadvantage it could be, or disbenefit, sorry, for this project. So to make it clear, any project happen, there it has to be some disbenefits out of it, okay? But does it mean that the project is not correct, or is not suitable, or is not needed, or we don't do it in this way, okay? How we can say we go with this project considering all these factors of the disbenefit and benefit and cost, or no? This is the method that we are going to learn today. It will help you to make the decision, and numerically طبعا. I'm talking about mathematically, because maybe you go with the decisions, it is needed, even though sometimes is this benefit is higher than the benefit, or the cost is higher than the benefit. It depends, يعني sometimes the depend on the project, but this method is common, and one of the method that you can use it to make that decision, or help you to make that decision. Um, this method is basically finding a ratio or a factor. Sorry, not ratio. It is um, uh, it is a number or fraction اللي هو الكسر. You are dividing value of money over a value of money, so you are finding a factor at the end that has no unit, and based on that factor you make the decision. Now let's go to define the cost. I believe the example I stated, it draws the picture to you. What do we mean by cost, benefit, and disbenefit in public sector project? But now we need to go and define them. The cost is the expenditure to the government to build or maintain the project, and the benefit is the advantage to public. Like we said, you as one of the advantage of building Taiba and other university as a student, income and savings, new jobs. لأنه you when you graduate, that's mean it is as we said, we are improving the manpower in our country. The disbenefit, it is expected and desirable. By the way, يعني know this word expected, so it has to be in projects, it has to be this benefits. um, when they expand the haram, whether Mecca or Medina, this benefits some people. They may lose their houses or their homes, or maybe they live close to the expanded area, and also the transportation issue that rise again and increase more in their area, and that is common, and it is considerable and expected. Negative consequence of project to the public, usually these are economic disadvantage estimatable in money units, and we will here it's showing examples. You can read the examples, because I gave, I think, enough examples to show the meaning of that. The benefit, we name, or we use the letter B as for the benefit, which is the advantage to the public, and this benefit we use the letter D to name it as a disbenefit to the, or disadvantage to the public, and C is the cost, and we consider the cost here savings. If it is considered like a salvage value, we consider it with the minus here, okay? And we will explain that inshallah when we see the formula. But we have to pay attention that always, 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 when we use value of money in engineering economy, the unit in our case is the time. We cannot use the money in different times and we add them as is together. I have 5 real today, 5 real next year we cannot add this 5 to the other without converting them using the formulation that we have learned in chapter 2. So always use the same exact expression, whether present worth, annual worth. We didn't cover future worth in this course, and we are not required to do it, but you have to stick to one of those, either present or annual, and it is up to you. And don't use minus sign here in this chapter. Why? Because as we said, it is public project, is not profitable. We are not looking to the cost with a minus, because there is expected income at the end to have it with a plus sign. Here also the reason is that I was going to explain, but we can say it now, is we are calculating a factor. We are not calculating a value of money. We will see the formula and it will explain now. The benefit and the cost analysis, either you use the present or the annual or the future. You have to use one of those, either the present or the annual. The total cost in this case will be equal the initial cost plus the maintenance and operating cost minus the salvage. Pay attention here, the salvage is minus. I'm going to give more details, just give me a few. The formula is this, the one in slide 7. Always recall this formula. You are going to use it to solve any problem of the benefit cost analysis for a single project. It is the benefit minus the benefit over the cost, and the cost is the initial cost plus the maintenance operating cost minus the salvage. Initial cost and maintenance operating cost and the salvage, all of them, they need to be in the same time value of money. Please note this, it is very important. All these values, initial cost, operating, salvage, they need to be in the same format, either annual or present, okay? And why we are having the salvage in minus? As you can see from the formula, we are dividing value of money, which is the benefit, and this benefit, at the end they are real or this dollar or currency, huh? And we divide that over the cost, which is another real or cost or dollars. So when we divide numbers with the same unit, we get a factor that has no unit. That's why here, and as we said, in this project, they are public or governmental project, there is no profit expected. We don't put the cost with the minus sign, we put it with the plus, and the salvage considered to be neglected from the cost, and that's why we put it as a minus sign. So what is the decision? Basically, this is the formula that we are going to use, and at the end you will get a factor, either it is greater or equal to 1 or less than 1, and based on that we make the decision. If it is greater or equal to 1, we accept the project. If it is less than 1, then we neglect or reject the project. An example here, the present worth of the initial cost, P, it was given as a present, which means initial cost. It is 15 million, and the annual operating cost was 500,000 per year, and the benefit is 1,500 per year, and this benefit is 200,000 per year. The interest is 6%, and the number of years is 10, and the number of years mean for those the benefit, the present and the annual. Now we have an annual and present, and as we said, the cost, it has to be with the same time value of money. So we either change that to annual or change this to present, and to do so, it was changed here in this solution to annual. So the present annual, to present. So we use the annual, which is the sorry again. we are going to use the annual, not the present. We are going to use the annual. So we converted annual given present. So the present is being changed to annual. So we can add it to the 500K. The 15 million A given P, because the present is going to be changed to an annual, and it will be 2 million, sorry, the 2 million, and approximately is 2 million. And the benefit, which is the 1,500, it is per year, and this benefit is per year. So that's why we are converted all the values to be an annual, so they will be in the same format. The only thing was not in annual format was the present. And we replace, pay attention to that, the present it has to be, or the cost, it has to be with a plus sign, and the operating cost, another cost, it will be with a plus sign. The only thing that with the minus is because of the formula is this benefit. This benefit, we place it as is with a minus sign because the formula, it has the minus. About this question about P, if you read it from the beginning, it means, or it gives the complete information. It says annual worth equivalent of P, not P equal. That's why even it confused me when I was explaining that. Is P that equal A given P? Okay, it is the annual worth equivalent, meaning in Arabic القيمة السنوية من القيمة الحالية تساوي. So we are referring to the annual worth here, okay? But yeah, I agree. It may a little confuse you, but if you read the whole statement here, it is clear that he wants to find the annual, okay? How is the cost is being calculated? A question here received. The cost we calculated, as we said, from the formula here. The initial cost plus maintenance operating cost minus the salvage value. We don't have salvage in this problem. We have initial cost, which is the present, and annual operating cost. So we add them together, but they have to be in the same time format. Okay? Before we go to this another example, let's see if you have questions to answer before we solve this example. Okay, no questions, so that's mean everything is clear. I will ask you to read this example and let's together try to find the elements to find the benefit cost analysis for this project. By the way, for this slide, when we had the ratio or the factor is less than 1, it was 0.51. That means the project is not acceptable. So you have to make this decision after you find the benefit cost analysis. You don't just do finding the factor and then you leave it. You have to make your decision based on the criteria given at the top of this slide. When the benefit cost analysis greater than or equal to 1, we accept it, and reject it if it's other else. So let's go back to this example. Where is what elements we need? We need to find the first cost. What is the first cost or the initial cost in this example? 1.4 million. Yes, exactly. Thank you, Abdul Samad Umar. Great. Also pay attention when it says million, you don't apply it 1.4 in the formulation, okay? You have to pay attention to the 1.4 million and use the right digits in adding the values together. And it is an annual or a present? Present, yes. Thank you, Umar Abdul Karim Samad. Yes. And then we have annual maintenance cost 40,000. So annual, it is 40,000. N, what is the N equal in this example? 10. Excellent, Riyan. Muhammad, everyone here. Yes. Thank you for this good participation. What we have, is there a salvage here in this example? No, there is no. Thank you, Umar. Yes, Hashim, Muhannad, all of you. What is the 175,000? What is it referring to in the benefit cost analysis? Benefit. أحسنت يا عمر. Yes, عبد الصمد. عبد الصمد, you mentioned it A, but okay. Hazim, yes, it is benefit. What is, how you knew that it's benefit? Because some of students, maybe they would ask, how do you know? Do you know this 175? أحسنت يا عمر. ممتاز عبد الغني محمد. Yes, yes, excellent. Because the statement here, it says reduced damage, reduced flood damage. This is a benefit. This is a benefit. Obviously when you reduce the flood damage, الفيضانات أو اللي هي مياه الأمطار اللي بتصير, that's mean it's a benefit. So obviously, يعني clearly, what is the 25,000 is? Yes, excellent. Is this benefit? Because we will expect to have lost income to farmers by 25,000 per year. And as you can see, all the values in which format here, in which time value, annual, except for the first cost. Okay, so it is better to just convert the first cost to an annual. What formulation that we are going to use? A given P, أحسنتم, and for the number of years, which is 10, and the percentage is 6. Excellent, Abdul Karim. Yes. And now we can just apply to our formula. To have the cost, we will add the first cost after we convert it to an annual to the annual cost, which is the 40,000. And then we find the benefit, which is the 175 minus the disbenefit, and then we divide it over the total cost. As easy as that. The benefit 175, the disbenefit is 25,000, and the cost, we need to convert the first cost to an annual, and then the 40,000 we don't need to. Then we divide them based on the formula, and the value, it is 0.65, which is less than 1, and the decision will be no, to don't build the project or don't conduct the project because it's not economical. And as we see now, the benefit cost analysis help the government or help the public projects to make their decision based on the benefit, this benefit and cost, whether this project is going to be economically justified or no. We are not considering profit out of this project, but also to consider, is the benefit that is going to be gained from that project cover the cost or to be greater than the cost and the disbenefit? If yes, then we consider that project is economically justified. If no, then is not economically justified. I hope this was clear. I'm not going to go further in the second part of this chapter because it is going to be a little bit different, and I want you to understand and master this part first, then we move on. Do you have any questions in regard to this chapter? Please raise your hand so we can take the questions through the mic. Okay, if there is no questions, I will take other questions than this chapter after I close the recording. So no more questions. Okay, I will stop recording the session. Maintenance and operating cost, MO, is maintenance and operating cost. Someone is asking MO, what does it mean? The MO from this formula, it is similar to the annual operating cost, which is AOC that we used to do. MOC or AOC, both are the same, annual operating cost or maintenance operating cost. Okay. This is related to the feasibility study, but for, as we said, the public projects more than the private, you can use it to get a hint about your project, whether it is going to be having benefits more or this benefit. If we reduce, and we have a question about the last example, if we reduce the initial cost, now whether you reduce the initial cost or you reduce the annual operating cost, or yes, what else that can increase النومينيتور هنا أو البسط to make the value equal or greater than 1. Definitely, if it gets that, that means the benefits of that project is covering those costs and this benefit. Okay, I will stop recording and receiving all the other questions that you have regarding to the course in general.